we have a late member of the public, Lizzie Van. You can pull up a chair wherever. We got started promptly today. Everyone's all tan in their summer. Okay. 10 Church Road is on hold because it's on hold. Anybody? So I think we were talking about drafting a letter to send to Bill, and then I think Michael and Bob wanted to kind of think about it more, and Stacy as far as what we hope to get out of it. So I think there was just some more discussion around it.
Can I hear?
Yes, I guess I'll allow it.
Thank you. So I have reached out to the Attorney General. We've been back and forth. They're a pain in the ass to deal with. And I finally got Michelle Hinchey's Chief of Staff is now in the middle of it.
Really?
And we're trying to set up a meeting with the attorney. I forget her name at the moment. I have it written down somewhere. If someone from this body would like to join us on that, I think it's going to be a Zoom meeting. That would be fine.
When is it? Do you have a date yet?
We're still trying to work out times.
Okay.
As soon as I have a time from those two groups that works, I'll let you know.
Okay, great. All right, that's a good update. Green Festival. I mentioned last meeting that there is a it's a festival coming up. It's called Green Festival at the Bearsville Theater. Lizzie Van is here, who's as I don't know if you guys know. Does everyone know who Lizzie Van is? She owns the Bearsville Center complex. She's done a wonderful job with it. So I actually spoke to her in between the last meeting and tonight. So just to recap, Stacy and Michael, we're gonna man a table, kind of like this. And what we'll do is I'll give you guys such all the Earth Day stuff, the NRI maps and all that stuff, so to educate. Cool. And then
So we're gonna be there from like, is it 12 to 6?
It's 12 to 6 is open to the public, yeah.
Great.
I have some information.
yeah, so do you mind?
Is that
yeah.
all right?
Yeah.
Is that my phone that's dinging?
It's probably mine.
Lizzie, are other groups, is there like an application for groups to participate?
Yes, my friend Kate, my colleague Kate is taking there are lots of people that are going to come, but for me, town of Woodstock coming would be
Thanks.
essential. So I'm going to take you through my handout. Don't you love handouts? Would you like a handout? Okay. And now I've run out of my handout. I didn't know there was quite as many people. Could you possibly share? Is that all right?
Or you can take pictures with your phone too.
And
So here,
I'll
I
stand up. Stand up.
for example,
You all right? I'll give you mine afterwards.
No issue, we're working on
So-
this, so that could be.
So yeah, let's let Lizzie.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
maybe we could talk after, because there's things about composting that we're working on, but it's
Yes.
also part of the town's initiative, so.
Yes. So let me take you through what we're trying to do.
Oh,
We're trying to put in, this is the first of an annual Green Festival. And rather than it just be, hey, come along and find out about solar power or something, I thought it'd be really good if we have 5 distinct areas and each of those areas accepts a challenge. So I talked to Ken and he explained about the Climate Smart Communities initiative, and I tried to understand the point system in that and where Woodstock is at the moment with its bronze certification. And it seemed to me that what the area to focus on would be housing and transport. Those are the 2 biggest users of carbon.
Can I just ask you to clarify, because when we spoke about it, so when she says housing, she means green housing, not
Yes.
affordable housing.
Yes, that's tomorrow's meeting. Yes. Okay, so if you can imagine, I'm sure you all know that there's a park at the back of the theatre, and there's the lawn just behind the theatre, and then there's another area where we're going to have a stage. On that lawn, we're going to put up what I call stations, so 5 distinct areas. One of them will will be about housing, one will be about transport, one will be about waste. A fourth one will be waste and Woodstock, hello. And then the final one will be our heroes, because I think there's some very inspirational groups around, whether it's the Land Conservancy or the Pollinator Pathway, or the Ashokan Centre and Bread Alone. They are already doing some amazing things, and I think that we should celebrate them and also give them challenges and say, come back next year and what will you have done next year that, you know, the citizens of Woodstock can contribute towards or just be aware of. So these 5 stations, the first one is how to reduce carbon from housing, and I'm sure this is something this committee's talked about many times, but I spent a long time talking to Mike Murphy from Cornell Extension, who is paid for by NYSERDA, and he told me how easy it would be, depending on different income levels, to register for the Empower or the Comfort Home programs, which involves an energy audit, and then if you go to the next stage, then you are given financial help to do air sealing, draft proofing I call it, as a British person, proof the drafts. We put in insulation, we put in heat pump hot water, and then renewable energy. So he's going to come along, he's inviting these other people to come along, there's going to be stations there that you can find out about. And I'm really keen to make it so understandable, because I'm sure you yourselves get immersed in this sense that there are so many programs and it's all statistics and it's, do you qualify for this, is it a discount or a grant, blah, 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 blah. And I actually had to stop Mike and say, let's just make it really easy to understand. If you've got a household income of less than $50,000, what can you get and how much of that does it cover of your hot water or your attic insulation, whatever. So he and I are going to work on making it really easy to understand and then to apply for. Also, as you said, there are other people coming, so energy conservation services are coming, New York is for Clean Power, and Rykel, which is a ground source heat pump company, are all coming. The second one that can focus my mind on was transport. And transport is a hard one to know how to talk about, because it's about the thruway, it's about school buses, it's about a lot of different aspects of transport. But the ones that we know that we as citizens can impact on are, we can get on our bike, we can get on our electric bike if you're as old as me and you can't get up hills anymore. We can get into an electric car or a hybrid car. So I have talked to Romeo Auto Group in Kingston, because I went and tried all the different electric cars, 100% electric cars that are around, and there's Toyota and there's a Hummer, can you believe there's a Hummer that's electric? There's so much. But very few of them are actually available and very few of them are actually affordable. So the ones that seemed to be the most affordable and available were Kia and Chevy Blazer. So we're going to have one of each of those actually in the middle of the park with the statistics about what they cost, what the leasing is, what they save you in terms of money for your gas, what they save in terms of carbon as well. So that's a nice thing to have. People are fascinated, I think, by transport. And then electric bikes. I'm trying to get Billy from Overlook Bikes to come and talk about his bikes, which are kind of the high-end sort of enthusiast bikes. I'm also trying to get some low-end electric bikes in there as well, so from a company called Berkshire Bikes. I'd love to be able to talk about the electric school bus initiative that means that all school buses are going to be electric by 2035, but I'm struggling on that one. And I've invited Grace Murphy from the Clean Streets Committee to come as well. And then the third station is how we deal with waste. And I know we're all trying to deal with waste. And my frustration as a business owner who owns a restaurant, the Bear Cafe and the Cafe Espresso, is what do? You know, do you reduce, give away, take out products, you know, like paper cups? Do you insist on only doing draft beer instead of bottled beer? Do you insist that your customers put things in the right sorting bins? And then do you insist that Waste Management Company or County Waste or whoever, or the transfer station is dealing with it really well at the other end? Because as Erin and I were saying, there's a lot of mistrust about whether or not they actually do recycle it, or it actually ends up on some poor person's landfill site in India and they're trying to make money from it. So I'm trying to bring all the parties to that, whether it's composting or it's the waste companies or it's the Ulster County Resource Recycling Group, who I'm seeing on Friday. There are composting initiatives. You guys know about the people in Newport. There's another one that's coming through that's based in Hudson or maybe Boston. There's your own initiative, which I know you're pushing through. So I'm trying to, that's one that I'm still a little like, not sure how to do this. But again, it's always going to be very simple messages to public. We will get over 1,000 people at this festival. Over half of those will be Woodstock residents. So it's important that we get the messages right and that they are simple to understand and then simple to take action about. The fourth station, which really should be the first station, but I'm not sure that you guys really want to get out there and do this, is celebrate what's been achieved so far. So I know you have things at the Highways Department and the Town Hall and the new buildings that are going up, and there's LED streetlights and all sorts of initiatives, because when I met Bill and Erin, they told me about that. I'm not sure that people know about it, so it's an opportunity to reach out to people and tell them, but also to work out how to make sure they don't forget as well. And obviously, I assume that we're working towards getting more climate smart communities points, and we're going to try and get further up the ladder, if you like, on that one. So again, can we involve the residents in that? Is there things that they can do? I've looked at having electric vehicle charging points in. I know the town is looking at electric vehicles, hybrid vehicles. We have a farmers market. We have other things that have happened. So it's an opportunity really for the town of Woodstock to shine. I mean, it should be, it's a progressive town. It should be at the forefront of all of these things. If you say what's the top 20 towns and cities in America for green, Woodstock's not on it. So Woodstock should be on it, and I would like to see it on it. And then the local heroes I just mentioned, Bread Alone, the Shogun Centre, the Land Conservancy, the Pollinator Pathway, and farmers markets. I want them to have a presence and to make a public commitment. So for example, I'm going to ask Nels Leader what's the next thing on his plan of using renewable energy at Redden. So I wanted to tell you about it, and Erin very kindly said I could come along and tell you. I'm very happy to answer questions. I'm also very happy to work with whomever on your committee who might like to get a little involved and help you put this together, particularly for the town of Woodstock station.
You mentioned Kate. I think if you give us Kate's contact, so as
Yes.
we know people who are interested, we can.
Yes, it's kate@bearsdalecentre.com.
There you go.
KATE.
Thank you. Susan? I didn't know if you had a question.
No, I'm getting all right. And then, so we're gonna do the table there. How do I get a hold of you to talk to you further?
Yes, that would be great. Yeah. So I'm Lizzie at bearsdalecentre.com. My
Lizzie.
cell phone. I'll give you business cards. I'll have it.
All right, great, thanks.
Actually, put it on this sheet.
Thank you so much.
She's doing that business cards. It's like being at a Chamber of Commerce meeting. Sorry, that's my
Oh, and then actually, we had 2 additional people come in. Can you just state your name?
Terrence Lovin.
Terry Liver and
That's
Mal.
that's me.
Mal. Yeah, thank you. Sorry.
What's your name, sir? I'm taking notes.
It's Mal.
M-O-W.
Thanks. Sorry about that. Yeah, so Susan, I'm seeing ahead now, so it looks like you're interested in
I'm
that.
very interested in
Okay.
getting involved.
So maybe we'll connect again. I think it's great. I mean, I went and I saw the setup, and it's really nice. It's really beautiful. It's really engaging, and I think it'll be a great success.
It'll be a nice festival. We always have live music, 75 decibels at the borders, and we have nice cocktails, non-alcoholic and alcoholic, and food. So it's a real family thing. I would say that maybe 3/4 of the people there have children. So we have a TP that they're painting, and we have cornhole and badminton and stuff, and live music, and it's a really nice event when we do our little festivals. I try very hard not to upset our neighbours. So
Okay, and maybe it'll be like our day dot 2.
Yeah, we had talked about moving our Earth Day to July or August.
Yeah.
So maybe this is a way for us to bring some of those resources.
Okay.
So
Great.
what should I do? What do you want me to do next?
Well, how about, so Susan, it looks like do you guys want to join meeting, cause I'm thinking maybe we should just get together
Why don't we
and,
do that?
maybe like another walkthrough just to show and get an idea of the layout, do either, so Susan will do it, I'll do it, Michael,
Yeah.
and, alright,
Yeah.
Bob, are you interested?
And
Where'd
then-
Bob go?
Oh, there he is. There he is, Bob. He's in San Francisco.
Oh, he's got the art. Are you interested in being included in that, Bob?
Yeah.
Okay. So why don't we do that, July 20th will be here before you know it, so we'll try and do it, in the next couple of days. We'll try to get together, it'd be great.
And I would like to get together with Ken and just understand about the point system a little bit more and what the town is expecting its next challenges to be, because that's one way of us, that'll be part of the communication.
Alright, yeah. Alright, great, thanks so much, you're more than welcome to stay.
Thank you.
Okay. Have a seat. Next on the agenda. Water, town water. So Bob is usually taking the lead on this, but since we have Mr. McKenna here, I think maybe, Phil, would you mind coming up to the table, to the stage, so I can get you on film or on camera or whatever?
How's that?
Thank you.
Before we get on water, if I could just touch on composting for 1 minute.
Oh, yeah.
So just to give you an update, because I was working with you and
Right.
Ray, and so we're gonna start it next week at Farmers Market. We've got the containers all ready to go, and we're gonna be composting over at the
Sorry.
chips pile at the salt shed.
Michael is our point person for compost.
Okay.
Ray's not here, so I'd like to be with you as well.
Give me a call and we can meet later this week.
So the town bought the containers?
Yeah.
Wow. I'm sorry, where's Bill McKenna? Can you send him in?
He's hiding.
Okay. That's great news.
Yeah,
Wow.
and our compost chair didn't even know.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, we'll have to reach out. Okay, that's great, thank you. So the water, so did everyone get a chance to see the results?
Yeah.
Good news. So I guess, Bob, do you wanna talk about the results for a little bit and then we'll hand it over to, Bill? With regards to next steps, or?
I think most people in the room know that, you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, most people in the room, I think, realize that the latest round of, testing and analysis, shows levels that not, what's called non-detected. But I'll let Bill elaborate on next steps and plans and things like that at the time.
Okay. Great, Mr. McKenna.
So, and Bob and I had some texting, a little texting, or not texting, emailing back and forth, and I think we're in agreement. With the town, my recommendation to the board will be to continue testing every 3 to 4 months. Bob mentioned quarterly, so we'll do that. Both well fields came back as non-detects, so we will continue to take a sample from each of the well fields. What the plan had been, if there had been a detector to come back at one of them at the same well field, for instance, the next step would have been to test each individual well and try and identify where it was coming from. At this point, we don't need to worry about that, but in the future, that would be the plan, that if we saw developments, that we would isolate the wells.
The quarterly testing would be in August, though, would be the next test. May to August.
So we just got the results, August.
On the 7th.
Yeah.
That's quarterly.
Okay, good.
Put it on the calendar.
I have a quick question.
What, we just wanna hold comments to the end, and we're just gonna finish everything up.
So one of the other things, until we know exactly what we're up against, it's a little difficult to know what we would need to do to remedy it. But there have been conversations with the town engineer that we would look into some type of charcoal filtering. And we've gone back and forth with whether we would just do that in one spot or whether we would do the individual wells. I think he was leaning towards doing the smaller individual wells. But we can't come up with a design for that right now until we know if and where the problem is, but the conversation has started.
Thank you for being so proactive. I'm really glad that these came back. I know Bob was very, we only have 2 sets right now, we only have 3 sets of data, we've gotta wait, we still need another one. Thank you for doing it again.
So I think this is now the 5th set of data, so we had 3 tests that came back non-detect in 21, 22, no, what is it?
In 22.
But they weren't
0.89.
testing until 21.
21, 22, 23, so we have 4 sets.
Yeah.
23 was when we got the detect in well fields.
Well, 22 was 0.89.
There was no detect in 22.
Yeah.
0.86 or what?
Oh,
26,
maybe
yeah.
it was.
22 was 0.86.
Let's see.
Yes.
I have all of reports going back to the cavemen. 22 was the 0.86.
Yeah, that's a non-detect.
Okay.
Well,
It's a
Actually,
non-detect.
yeah.
you want to ask the question?
Yes, because labs can't detect below 1.86. So if you look at the tests, it says less than 1.86. Part of the issue has been that we only were required to test for this in 21, and they haven't come up, they keep changing the guidelines and procedures and how it's supposed to be done.
This is all new.
This is all new.
Long
And Bob, you know more than I do on this subject, but basically they cannot detect below the 1.86, and therefore they can't absolutely say that if they get a reading below that there isn't something there, So nobody wants to be called a liar, nobody wants to be held liable. So if it comes up below that 1.86, it is a non-detect. And that doesn't mean there's 1.86, it means it could be 0,
less than.
it could be 1.5, but it's a non-detect, it doesn't register.
Yeah.
And so we've only had 1 detect of 3.48
Mhm.
last December.
Yes. And we're looking for a pattern, and so far we don't see one, which I'm really
Which
hopeful.
I would, let everybody know, we immediately called the health department, they shrugged their shoulders and said, well, do another test in a couple of months.
And that's why I'm saying thank you, because you're not required to do this every 3 months, but you're being proactive, which is not always been used.
We tried.
But I appreciate it because everybody, this is a hot topic. Susan, you know.
Yeah, no, I just have one question. I know these labs take forever. Is there a way to expedite?
No.
No.
And it's only gonna get more difficult because,
Yeah. More people.
part of the issue was that in December, the state limit was 10. So we were
Right.
less than even halfway, and the EPA had a non-binding recommendation of 70. And it was on April 9th or 10th when the EPA all of a sudden, I shouldn't say all of a sudden, but they lowered it. And that isn't, as best as anybody can tell me, that's not in effect yet. But it's where we're going.
Yeah.
Somebody suggested, one of the health department employees suggested it could be 3 or 4 years before that's actually an actual requirement. But, it's, as far as I'm concerned, it's the goal.
We know no level of PFAS are safe or PFAS are safe.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what the EPA says, but I was just hoping it could be expedited and we could move faster if there was another.
Unfortunately not.
And unfortunately, with more testing, one thing that I've heard is because this testing is new in the labs, there are retests being done because of, what is it, false
False positive.
Thank you.
I don't know if that's the proper term or just You know, for instance, we don't know why we got a test, a positive test, you know, did a fleck fall off the jacket of the individual collecting the test? Did the lab worker contaminate it? Was there something there that is now since flushed out? For instance, in the well fields where we did get the positive test, we had just brought online a new well.
That's what Larry was telling us today, had a lot of new equipment in that.
So, what, you know, was there something on the pump or the pipe that eventually flushed through the system? Because it doesn't go away, but if there's only a small, it doesn't spread. So if you've got a small contamination, in theory, it will flush away. That's what it could have been that. Nobody knows, and I don't know that, as best I can tell, there's no way that we'll ever confirm that.
Yeah, I think a way to, if we, the town disseminated information, just like you're doing tonight, written to all the citizens,
Right.
there'll be a lot less confusion.
Yeah, and again, I think part of it was in December, we were pretty low, and, you know, everybody's, no big deal. When they dropped the limit with the EPA, it all of a sudden became a much bigger deal. And I would also point out, the other 4 board members all are aware of all this, and didn't hear anything from any of them either.
Actually, has anybody heard from any of it? I haven't. Has anybody heard from any of them?
No.
Actually, that's not true. I heard from Anula. She had questions. But other than that, I was just wondering. Okay.
Are we
Bob?
gonna,
So,
are we gonna make
So-
recommendations?
yeah, so Bob, can you hear me? Bob,
I
can you
do
hear me?
have one other question. I know
Yeah, there
the
is.
schools have notified the families that the kids are gonna be on bottled water now. Is there,
I don't know what they're, I mean, they sent that letter out, at this point, it's no detect in the system, so I don't know what they're gonna do.
right,
So school's over.
Yeah. So,
it's one more week.
yeah.
So Bob, originally, we were talking about drafting a letter, I think you were gonna, you know, dot the i's and cross the t's about making recommendations to the town
For this issue?
for the
Okay.
water testing and say, hey, testing for. Do we wanna revisit that, talk?
Well, based on our email correspondence with Bill today, I mean, it sounds like we're moving forward, the town's moving forward with the quarterly testing, which I think is exactly what you have to do.
Anybody else?
I have a recommendation for communication purposes. Maybe with this issue or any other water issue, like if something, you would have to qualify with Larry like what it is. But if something out of the ordinary is happening, when you post the water results on the town website, maybe Larry could draft this little explanation. And what they're gonna do about, like, we're gonna be
Right.
testing again in August. And that way, people individually don't have to keep calling the office.
Right.
It's right there.
I'll talk to Larry about that.
Larry told me today that he didn't feel comfortable being the person to make the statement that you really needed the
I sus-
engineer to do that.
That was one of the initial concerns from Larry.
Yeah.
But we also, Erin and Anula have been working on, I've been helping a little bit, we are gonna have a town hall or an informational
Right, that's right.
on the, is that the 24th?
That date changed a lot.
I think it's July 24th. And there'll be some discussions, the health department, the county health department, as well as their doctor will be there.
She's gonna have
That
that.
was on July?
Is that a Wednesday, July 24th? Yeah, I think that's the day they landed on.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, I'm getting an email.
Okay, are you done with me?
Yes, thank you so much. So we decided we'll hold off on the letter now, because it sounds like we're actually.
I don't think it would hurt
That
to
was for
send,
Bob, that
to
was for
send
you.
it, because we've had this conversation, but you haven't had it with the rest of the board. If I get something in writing, then.
Oh, with the rest of the town board,
Right.
I would encourage you to send communications.
Okay, you hear that, Bobby?
No, I couldn't quite hear Bill, what was that?
I would just, I mean, it could be as informal as an email, but I think the WEC should send your thoughts and recommendations, or even just say we're in agreement that we should do A, B, and C.
Right.
So I would encourage you to do that.
Yeah, I'm certainly okay with that.
Okay, thank you, Bob. And thank you, Bob, because you and I have had a couple of chats about all this, so thank you for any of your assistance through this travail.
All right,
Goodbye.
thank you very much.
Well, before you leave, one question.
Sure.
About a year ago, we started this thermal project.
Geothermal?
The geothermal project, where they're gonna dig up the town and put in geothermal everywhere.
Wow, like you're talking about.
Well, I understand the final report has gone through its final review,
Okay,
so I wonder what the next steps are.
you would need to ask Councilperson Ricky.
Yeah, the WEC's not involved in that.
She's handling that one. She did give me what I thought was a draft review. I would reach out to her.
Well, they probably did give you a draft review, because that's what's been reviewed, but
Yeah,
I think it was a Monday ago, they had their final review.
That's great.
I haven't seen the final, I don't know how much has changed, I really haven't. I've been waiting for them to make.
Yeah, right, well, that's what I was wondering. if they
Right.
But I mean,
heard
that's
anything yet.
great.
It was a little early to ask you the question.
Yes, I haven't put a lot of time into it at this point.
Understand.
She did briefly tell me a couple of weeks ago something about 3 possible areas where they could try it. Rock City Road, somewhere down Mill Hill and Tinker Street.
Mhm.
One of the things they liked about Tinker Street is it's gonna be dug up pretty soon. Well,
Yeah.
They remove it then.
a year or so, it'd be a good time to lay pipe.
Yeah.
So that's where that is.
Okay, great.
I will keep WEC apprised of if I get a meeting with the Attorney General.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Have a good evening.
Hopefully it's at your invitation, not theirs.
What's that?
What was your invitation, not theirs? When the Attorney General calls, it's generally not a good idea.
No, I've called them. I've requested the meeting. This is to do with paroles and dumping and sororities and,
So Bill asked, I don't know if you heard, but he asked if someone from the WEC wanted to join, maybe that's why.
yes.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
All right, I got nothing else. Anyone else? Michael?
I'm good.
Stacy? Robert? Looks like he's playing with the San Francisco game. Does anybody from the public want to say anything?
I'll try to make this quick. One thing is just a point of information, which I think Ken and Bob should already know, but the report that we just got does not say 1.86 is non-detectable. It's called a report limit, and it's created by the laboratory. When a substance is non-detectable on an EPA protocol, laboratory processes, they use the term ND. If you don't see ND and you refer to it as non-detectable, that's an error. What it says is less than 1.86. And although I don't completely disagree with Bill, because the earlier 0.89, I was talking to the health department about this, it's so down in the dirt. Your accuracy really starts going down at that level. So I'm not trying to make a big deal out of it, but I don't want the town to seem like they don't know what they're talking about. So I would not refer to those results as non-detect. That's all. It's just an observation, a recommendation. I also want to point out that the test results that concerned us, the 3.48 nanogram per liter from last year, that sample was taken in June. It was reported in October during the regular time period for the town, but it wasn't until one of the people that I know spoke with Larry that the town actually retracted the report and mentioned that, oh yeah, PFAS has appeared. I mention that only because I think a lot of what we're learning right now is that we're going to have to deal with this stuff for a while. So being prepared, knowing what to say, frankly, I think the state should be guiding municipalities on language. I've worked with both federal and state groups like that on just boilerplate, so you can say something that doesn't freak people out, and yet they know what precautions to take personally. And I think that we need to get that part right, that's all. I think we're going to be seeing more of this. I was a little surprised to find that
30
Fire-
seconds.
firefighting foam might be an issue. And then I thought about it and I said, well, even if they threw all the stuff away in the fire department, all the stuff they've used over the years ended up with furniture that went to landfills. So there's issues that we're gonna have to deal with, and I just really applaud you and encourage you to be as proactive as possible as you can.
Thank you.
Thanks, Vince.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I would just mention, I appreciate your comment. I apologize for not knowing your name.
Stacy.
Stacy? Yeah, nice to meet you. But I would reiterate what you were saying about communication to the people in the town. It's that which builds trust, not lack of communication, which is what we've seen. And you can just talk to the people on the street. They do not trust. They may be saying, okay, this is happening, that's happening, but do they trust what they're hearing? And by and large, I feel the answer is no. And it's by being open, whether it's the WEC, whether it's one of the other boards, or whether it's the supervisor in the town board. There's just a barrier there which promotes distrust. And it's permeating this community. So thank you so much for your comment and your encouragement for the supervisor to be more transparent.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree. I just personally, I think the 10 Church Road situation really, a lot of people lost trust in the government and Woodstock Town Board over that. They felt there was a lot of misinformation, and I think that was, I don't know if it was a catalyst, but we've all been talking and we're really trying to do it right with this water testing, so hopefully we will with communication. But you're right, I saw the reports on the website, but they're just reports.
Right.
It would be
And
nice
even
to
if
say,
somebody goes reports, not many people.
right, and it would be nice to say, hey, here's what we're doing next. It's
Or
missing.
if there's a big issue, should a mailer go out?
Yeah, just like the school
Yeah.
sent it to all the students, families.
So, sorry, thank you.
When the families get a letter from the school saying that the water's contaminated, but they haven't heard from the town,
But
that
now,
it really breeds mistrust though.
it does, but I will say, the school is saying the water's contaminated, but is it? We really just don't know right now.
But point being that have there been a proactive
But
statement?
it could be read by the supervisor and then.
Here's what we've discovered, we found this out in November,
Yeah.
and here's what we're doing about it. Then we probably could have avoided a lot of the fear of all these families now who were thinking that their kids can't drink the water at school.
Yeah, we're not that town.
I think most folks freak out more from not knowing than they do from getting bad news.
Absolutely.
You know, at least bad news is a definite quantity.
Or it could be an explanation, like you just explained very clearly, various issues. That should be done by government.
Anyone else have anything to say? Nothing? All right.
I just wanted quickly,
Yep.
at some point, I want to talk about the Green Festival and Earth Day, because it seems as though it's sort of,
Well, she said
Becoming
she's gonna do it every year, and I kinda liked that, and she's going to do it every year, she said.
right,
I
so maybe,
think.
so at some point we should talk
Yeah.
about what that really means for us, spending so much energy on Earth Day.
Yeah, I gave them our PR list.
Good.
So, and I said, here's
Good.
how you do it. So I was kind of helping her. I said, great. She asked me to run it, and I was like, no. I mean, I have to start saying no. So I said, here's how we do Earth Day. It'll start
Right.
baking
It's
itself.
also the Scarecrow Fest is also a very similar event, so
Yeah.
all that has to come together. Okay, that's
All
all I
right,
have to say.
thank you very much. Meeting adjourned 6:43.
Have fun, Bob.